Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 125 days since the body of a postgraduate doctor was found brutally raped and murdered in Calcutta's RG Kar Hospital. We all remember the nationwide outrage that went on for weeks after that, and it seems that our collective angst had finally borne fruit after the case was handed over to the CBI and more arrests were made. Well, as it always happens, the nation moved on to the next big news story. But it seemed nothing moved as far as investigations in the case were concerned. So today, two of the accused in the case have been granted bail by a local court. Why? Because after 90 days, the CBI could still not file a charge sheet against them. As a result, the former principal of RG Kar, Sandip Ghosh, and the former officer in charge of the Tala police station, Abhijit Mondal, have been granted bail in the evidence tampering case. Both Ghosh and Mondal were accused of tampering with evidence and trying to portray the entire episode as a suicide. Ladies and gentlemen, this incidentally is the third big setback to have hit the victim's family in the last 3 days. On Wednesday, senior advocate Vrinda Ghosh announced that she would no longer be representing the family of the woman doctor, citing certain, quote-unquote, intervening factors and circumstances. So on Thursday, no lawyer showed up to represent the parents of the RG Kar rape and murder victim at the Sialdah Sessions Court, where the day-to-day trial is currently being conducted. And today it was Sandip Ghosh getting bail. So is this ultimately Devi's fate, to be betrayed in life and then once again be betrayed in death, first by the Kolkata police and now by the CBI? And is this the message we send to women across the country, that we can outrage on your behalf, but that still won't be enough to get you justice? My guest this evening for a quick chat, Shubhankar Bhattacharya, political analyst, will be joining us on the show. Dr. Avra Sen is spokesperson of the BJP with us. Rizwan Siddiquee is a senior lawyer. Thank you very much. And Pratip Ranjan Bose is a senior journalist and a columnist as well. Thank you everyone for joining us. Rizwan Siddiquee, I'm coming to you first.
Sure.
You know, the simple question is, we all remember the RG Kar protest. We all remember what had happened. We had all outraged. There was anger against the two men who have been let off today. I want to ask you, is this why our belief in India's legal system is so low that you can hand the case over to the CBI, but ultimately justice will not come?
See, I will not say that the system is very flawed. The only unfortunate part is there are so many technicalities and so many lacunas and loopholes in the system that it is used so largely, by people who want to do corrupt practices or who want to get away by committing wrong. They use the best of lawyers, they use the best of legal minds, and then they use these lacunas and loopholes in the system to defeat the system and to ensure that justice is never delivered. So you have two sides of a lawyer, one lawyer who defends, the other lawyer who tries to ensure that the justice is delivered. So one is trying to ensure justice is not delivered, the other has to ensure that justice is delivered. Now coming back to this entire case, the unfortunate part is that in this case, what I see is that again, technicalities and legalities were used to ensure that the culprits, that the accused parties get bail by ensuring that the charge sheet is not filed within 90 days. And this also has to be given by legal minds, because these kind of advice can only be given by legal minds. Who else would give this advice, right? So that is why what I see, that the national wide, you can see the outcry is there, because people get away with murder, actually murder in this case, by finding loopholes and lacunas in the system. So this is...
No, Dr. Avra Sen,
Yes.
Okay, I'm just getting in the spokesperson of the BJP because the BJP was at the forefront saying that the Calcutta police is compromised, that the Calcutta police cannot do anything. They cannot investigate this matter right. Dr. Avra Sen, it turns out that the CBI has also let Devi down. The CBI is an agency that reports to the Home Ministry of this country. Even in 90 days, they have been unable to file a charge sheet, because of which two accused in the case have happily walked free. Mamata Banerjee stands vindicated, many would say.
Absolutely not. I would like to differ from your opinion here. A charge sheet has been filed against the prime accused of the case, that civic volunteer. But today, what we have seen, we're seeing is that two other accused people, they have been granted bail by the Honorable Court. But that's a different matter altogether. I would like to say that the statutory period of 90 days has passed, but the CBI has still got the chance of filing the charge sheet. And it would be wrong to say that if the charge sheet is filed, these two people, the ex-OC of Tala PS and Sandip Ghosh, would walk scot-free from this case, because there are innumerable precedents where people who have got bail in certain cases have then been convicted. I can cite a few very famous examples of Lalu Prasad Yadav, Jayadalita, and also Navjot Singh Sidhu. These people were out on bail and later they were convicted and they've served their sentence. So it would be outrageous to say that the CBI has entirely failed. It is not so. But yes, I can understand the public sentiment that it would have been really better if the CBI would have filed the charge sheet within the 90 days statutory period. But the fact of the matter is,
what was the demand?
Allow me to convey. Kindly allow
what
me to
was the demand? The demand was the Kolkata police is compromised. They are not professional. They don't know how to do their job, and therefore it is only right that the CBI will take over the case, and cases like these need to be fast-tracked. Is this what fast-tracking means in our country?
No,
that 90 days after the CBI takes charge of the case, they have not been able to gather evidence against two men who were accused not of raping or murdering the girl, but of trying to cover up the crime.
See, we have to take into consideration the fact that the dead body of the poor lady was burnt in a haste by the TMC government with collusion of the police, Kolkata police. This OC, ex-OC of Tala PS, was accused to be involved in tampering of evidence. We saw TMC MLAs and TMC leaders in active collusion with the police during all these things when they were happening. Now, the CBI did not get a chance to do an autopsy, the second autopsy on the dead body of the girl. The place of occurrence, it was accused that the place of occurrence was tampered, and the forensic evidence, which are very important in such cases, they were all tampered. To what extent, only God knows. And it is accused that these people were actively involved in that matter. So when we are seeing these people getting accused of such grave crimes, it is obvious that the CBI would also have to come up with a loophole-free charge sheet, so that these people, as the previous speaker was saying, that they use the loopholes of the system to run scot-free, so that this kind of situation does not happen. I'm telling once again, it was solicited that the charge sheet would have been filed within the 90 days period. But since it is not filed, we'll just need some more time, I guess, to wait and watch that when the CBI files the charge sheet and when these people get convicted. But at the same time, the horrendous role of the Kolkata police and the TMC government, which were in collusion in the entire thing of tampering evidence, which has been vindicated in the Supreme Court, that cannot be undermined in any way, I'll say.
Shubhankar Bhattacharya, just come in here. Just come in here. After all, it wasn't just the BJP or the opposition or the doctors who sat on dharana who were asking for a CBI probe. The fact also is that the young doctors' parents had asked for a CBI probe as well. Question is, do you think they have been let down? And has Mamata Banerjee, according to you, been vindicated?
See, the thing is, I tell you that since the very beginning, in whatever channel I was going to, I was continuously telling that we are actually not fighting the crime. We are actually using that to milk our political gains. That was something that was basically what BJP was doing. And when it comes to it, so what happens is that the case takes the second stand. It wasn't important to actually to nip the criminal by the butt. It wasn't the idea. The idea was how to topple the government. That was being used because immediately, if you remember, just before that, the student, agitation in Bangladesh took place, which actually caused to topple the government over there. The entire Sheikh Hasina had to run away from there. So that cue was taken by the BJP in Kolkata, and they thought that this student procession, this student agitation can be linked with that in what was happening in Bangladesh, and we can actually take benefit of it, and somehow, can
Mr.
get a
Bhattacharya,
chance to
let's
topple the
come back
government.
to India.
So no, see, we
Mr.
are in
Shubhankar
India,
Bhattacharya,
and
let's
I'm
come
just
back to
talking
India.
about that a cue was
How
taken from it.
how
A cue
could
was
any
taken from it.
citizen in this country, one minute, as we criticize the CBI, and we must criticize them because they've taken 90 days and they've still not been able to file a charge sheet, how can the citizens of Bengal and how can the citizens of India trust the TMC government with the probe when Sandip Ghosh, within hours of his sacking as the RG Kar principal, was accommodated in another medical college by Mamata Banerjee? Who will trust your government
Because,
and your police if
see,
this is how you behave?
the thing is, the question over here is, it is not about Sandip Ghosh. The thing is, why did we forget Sanjay Rai, who was the main culprit in this particular case? We forgot him almost. We were never taking his name. Even a plan was hacked to show that he was made a scapegoat. How can you say a direct criminal was made a scapegoat? That was also being raised over there. Even Shubhendu Adhikari came up to the screen and he was trying to show it. Now, the thing is, if there is something about the if Sandip Ghosh was to be acquitted, so what was CBI doing? And it is not about 90 days. Actually, the crime took place before 4 months. It has been more than 4 months. 90 days happened since Sandip Ghosh, the
125
CBI target started, picking up Sandip Ghosh and other officials in it. So we are calculating 90 days from the day when it went to the High Court. But even before that,
Okay.
the CBI had taken it in his hand, but they couldn't actually, bring out anything out of the mountain
Pratim
they were
Ranjan Bose.
actually,
Okay.
projecting.
Well, clearly they couldn't. Clearly they couldn't. But Pratim Ranjan Bose,
I just like to
is
add
this
one
then a
line.
classic
Please,
case
10
of...
seconds.
Okay, Dr.
10
Sen,
seconds,
go
please.
ahead.
Yes, 10 seconds. This same Mr. Rai, who is the prime accused in this rape case, he accused the state government and the Kolkata police of hatching a conspiracy. We cannot be forgetful of that. We cannot leave that in oblivion. We have to take into consideration that the CBI is fighting an entire state government on one side. The Trinamool government and the Kolkata police is hand in glove in hushing up the entire matter even today. They are fighting these odds and then still they are bringing up these matters in front of the court, and the Supreme Court has not brought anything under question. We should remember that. We should give the CBI some more time to bring all the facts on the matter.
Pratim Ranjan Bose. Pratim Ranjan Bose then, as a senior journalist observing the case and the politics of West Bengal, is this a classic case of what always happens? Something happens, a rape happens, an unfortunate murder happens. There's a lot of protest, there's a lot of surround sound, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of outrage, a lot of things get said. And then one day, that case, that rape and murder drops off the headlines. And after that, no one is interested in where the investigation is going, not even the CBI.
Whether CBI is interested, I'm coming to that later. But first part is, you're very correct. The effort is to take it to that level. And this whole thing had several shades of it. Number one, it is since 1970s, for the first time, the middle class came down on the streets without any political bias. So this was a very, very important case for his political history of West Bengal. So Trinamool, of course, the state government they were shaken up and they wanted to, pass the buck to somewhere else. Meanwhile, there was a lot of issues with this medical students, the fraternity that was doing the dharna. if you may remember, I'm not getting into the details. If you may remember the whole issue, the way things went on, and there was kind of political hijacking at that level also. There was some political alignment. It is,
Okay.
it is a political alignment between the guiding force, guiding politics of students and and Trinamool. So so this is one side of the story. Second side is this case was difficult case. The evidence, visceral evidence was not there. You are saying 125 days. Actually, it has to be 120 days for CBI because they took the case 5 days later. And the visceral evidence is not there. I remember, and you can always search it, former CBI joint director who is famous for the Lalu Jadoo forest scam case, Mr. Upen Biswas. He was also a minister in Mamata Banerjee cabinet and a very honest
but sir,
person.
here's the point. No, here's the point. The two men who have been let off, I just want to clarify this, the two men who have been let off, including Sandip Ghosh, in any case were never accused of rape and murder. They were accused of covering up evidence and trying to pass off and trying to pass off this entire sequence of events
I'm not saying
as
that.
a suicide. So that is the accusation. My point is my point was, the question that I asked you was a simple one, sir. That is this a classic case of no one being interested in how the case progresses and how its investigation progresses and who you let go, because now the case is not in the headlines. Mr. Rizwan Siddiquee, in a country where a case as high profile as Nirbhaya, despite being fast-tracked, took 11 years to settle and for the accused to be hanged, for the culprits to be hanged. Is this what we should expect in any case, in most cases in this country, and that we should not be surprised about what has happened in West Bengal?
No, I'll tell you what. Now, unfortunately, what has happened is that most of the times, every case, every legal case becomes a cause to enter into a political arena. So the issue is that the cause, when a case is translated into a cause, the agenda, the object, and everything goes out of the window, because the focus changes, and then we get into blaming each other, blaming the government, blaming the failure of the government, and all of those things. But I, being a lawyer, I'm not a political person. I will only stick to law points. In this case, what I see is a very, very clear case where the CBI, which is established under the Delhi Special Police Act, being the highest investigative agency in the country, in India, despite having been given permission to conduct a polygraph test, they also had a special committee. They had all the means. They never made any such claims that they were facing problems from any state government or any party. Despite that, their failure to file an additional charge sheet, a supplementary charge sheet, which is allowed under Section 173(8) of the erstwhile Criminal Procedure Code, they failed and neglected to do that without cause, without any grounds. And then today we are getting into political debates, because here the case has become a cause to enter into a political arena, and we are mixing issues. So what I very clearly see is this is a failure on the part of an investigative agency. And here it is a failure on the part where the investigative agency has failed the common man, and has failed to deliver justice. And that is what exactly is the issue is, which relates to the common man.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. The CBI today, you are saying, has failed the common man and has failed that young doctor who was brutally raped and murdered inside her own hospital. We'll leave it there for the moment, Mr. Rizwan. Thank you very much. Shabankar Bhattacharya, thank you. Dr. Sen, thank you very much. And Pratim Ranjan Bose, thank you very much for joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap from me. Thank you very much for watching.